In this video, I interview New York Times bestselling author Lewis Howes, and we talk about his tips for growing your influence with social media this year and how embracing vulnerability can help you make a bigger impact with your community online. Coming up. This video is brought to you by Learn Video.live, a 1-hour online masterclass on how to grow a highly influential and profitable YouTube channel this year. On this free training, you'll learn the proven strategies and current best practices for growing your subscribers and creating passive income with YouTube. To register for free, just go to learnvideo.live. Hey, what's up? Sean here with Video Influencers. Help you build your influence, income, and impact with online video. And I'm super pumped to be sitting with Lewis Howes. How's it going?
Doing good.
Super pumped to be here at Social Media Marketing World. Just landing the plane on the event here on San Diego. And Lewis, of course, is a New York Times bestselling author and the founder of the School of Greatness podcast with over 55 million downloads. That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, when you do something consistently for 5 years, hopefully it starts to pay off.
I love that, and that's one thing that you definitely stand for is consistency, and doing it over and over again. But for those maybe that are just meeting you, how did you end up at like the School of Greatness, best-selling author? I mean, just take us back in that nutshell version of your story.
Well, I mean, my dream ended when I lost my identity of playing sports, and then I got injured, and I had to figure out what I was going to do the rest of my life. This is about 10 years ago. From there, I started getting in the online marketing world because I didn't want to go get a job originally. I felt like I had a taste of what life could be like playing sports. I got to go do something I loved every single day and get paid for it. Yeah. So I said, I can't go backwards now. I now know what's possible. I can't go backwards. And online marketing was kind of picking up in 2008, 2009, so I was just learning as much as I could. Fast forward about 3 to 4 years, I started to generate a lot of courses and other things that helped me make a lot of money, but it wasn't the thing I was super excited about. So I sold that off and got into the School of Greatness. Was the idea of, I just want to connect with people that I'm fascinated with and learn from them and then share what I'm learning. That's all I wanted to do. And so that's when I started the podcast a little over 5 years ago. And it started once a week for the first year, then twice a week, and then 3 times a week. And I realized I just really enjoyed having these types of conversations. And through doing something that I loved, it started to pick up an audience. People were attracted to the thing that I loved. I didn't think of, I'm going to build a business around this. But people started saying, hey, can you put together everything you're learning into a course for us? Can you share this through a book? Can you do an event? Because we want to meet each other. So that's what started, building everything, is because the audience was excited about it and they asked for it.
That's so powerful. And, speak to this as well. We're talking about your podcast downloads, but you also have a very influential YouTube channel.
Yeah. I started to go all in on YouTube, what was this, a year and a half ago. I said, okay, I'm going to use video.
Yeah.
For like 8 years, I was just posting randomly. Like, I would be like, I'm going to do video, and I would do it for like a week or two. And I was like, this is expensive, this is a lot, it's too much time. And I think I had 30,000 subscribers in 8 years from just being sporadic. Then when I decided in 2016 to be consistent and record my podcast, so I had 2 videos a week in 2016, and it got up to 30,000 subscribers within a year. And now we're at 235, I think, at the end of 2017, now in 2018. And it's just about being consistent. And now this year I just said, I'm going to do a video every single day.
Wow.
Because a lot of people, I know like the Paulo brothers and how they just exploded. I watched them from pre-YouTube to vlogging daily. Yeah. And getting 12 million, whatever, followers. And whether you agree with them or like them or not, they built something powerful by doing daily vlogging, right?
100%.
And they were extremely creative, very talented, dedicated and consistent, high production value. Like, they did everything right to their audience. And so I started vlogging a little bit last year just to test it out, like once a week, but I didn't have like the same thing, right? I was like, I'm not them. Yeah. I can't do this. Or at least like my audience is like older and they're not as interested in that type of stuff. And just having a camera on me 24/7 was exhausting. Like, always tracking, like, well, here's where I'm at now and here's who I'm with now. I was like, I'm exhausted. I just want to enjoy life.
Right.
But I decided that daily video for me is now the next phase. I don't know if I recommend this to everyone.
Sure.
So I got 3 editors. And we have a lot of content, so we're repurposing a lot of content.
Right.
Editing up to inspiring content, And I'm excited to see what unfolds after a year of daily video.
Yeah. That's really a great story too. I love to hear your strategy and some of the nuances there. And also for influencers watching, a lot of people in our community are video influencers, but you're a great channel. Definitely go check out the channel because it shows how you can podcast, but also do video kind of simultaneously. And your execution of that's great. In fact, that's what we want to follow eventually for some of my personal stuff too. If we podcast, when we podcast, I should say, we're going to be capturing that video as well. That's a cool strategy. Have you learned anything in trying to execute on that?
It's tough because when you do daily video, it's hard to promote and get the views on the every single day because you can't just be like, watch my video today, watch my video, and listen to the podcast, and check this out.
True.
It's like
you're pushing your audience too many places.
It's hard to push it. So I try to create more evergreen SEO content that people are just going to discover and find on YouTube because they're typing in a question or they're finding someone's name or they watched another motivational video that had similar title and then it shows up and gets people in. So it may not take off right away, but hopefully the long tail, it just keeps building, and then they're just like, oh, I want to be a part of watching a couple videos a week, and some are, hour long and some are 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I haven't really figured it out yet. Maybe I need to watch some of your content to learn more.
I love it. Well, talking about social media, you're definitely seen as a social media expert, and you've been in all kinds of, Entrepreneur and Forbes, all these places, and talking about these things. This year, what is kind of the things you're paying attention to that you'd recommend, from your perspective? The landscape is always changing. And, what worked 3 years ago is not what works today. You talk a lot about Instagram. Just kind of an overview of sort of what you are focusing on.
I think it's challenging because, Facebook is constantly changing its algorithm. When the last year was big for Facebook video, and now it's changing so much. It's you just have to be ahead of the curve so often, I feel like.
How do you try to stay ahead of the curve? Do you try to read or just listen or talk or network?
I try to stay ahead of it by by partnering with the platforms. By meeting people at the platforms who have control.
So listening to Facebook themselves. Now you probably have some connections, but you'd say go to the source. What's Instagram releasing about Instagram?
Yes. I mean, do that, see what they're releasing, but also I'm going and connecting with the people that are in charge of the platform.
Absolutely.
And saying, how can I work with you to create content with you?
Yes.
So that we can serve your mission of your platform.
Got it.
And I think that's the way to get ahead.
Sure.
Ultimately, is to partner with them. So, when Facebook's doing Facebook Watch, it's okay, how do we get on that platform early to get integrated so that they see that I'm becoming a partner of theirs and can build with them as they grow this platform. As Instagram updates its new updates on whatever, Instagram Live or all the other stuff that they're doing, it's okay, how can I stay ahead by just using the platform they want us to use? That's one thing to do, but because even Instagram, it's you never know. Each week, the algorithm can change, and what got a ton of views last week, it could be nothing this week.
Yeah.
So I think it's challenging to put all your time and energy in these platforms, but that's where people are at, so you must have to at the same time.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So for me, it's how do we leverage these platforms to build communities that aren't determined on the platform. So I'm hosting a live event every year and bringing people together.
Yeah.
How do we create that so you can really build a community of people outside of the platform as well?
Yeah, and that's the School of Greatness Summit.
The Summit of Greatness, yeah.
Summit of Greatness, absolutely. That's an event that I can't wait to get to someday. Of course, we'll link that up in the description below. And what a great event you've put together now. Just kind of taking one more question here. You wrote a book, The Mask of Masculinity, right?
Yeah.
And it's definitely, for men, but also for anybody to read. And you've been really focusing on vulnerability and dealing with kind of your issues, right? And becoming into your true authentic self. When you're communicating on video, most of us, when we start, we usually are not in our true voice.
Yeah.
Because we've seen some other people, we're imitating what other people have said. But when you find and discover your authenticity, that's where the power is. We connect and resonate with people online that we feel are real, that they're authentic. And actually, I think everybody watching probably is, but they might have masks on. You know what I mean? They've got different things. They're imitating, copying. They're just trying to do their best. What are your tips for really honing your voice? You've done that in your podcast. You've probably grown over, What are your tips? And then some of maybe the principles that your book teaches that we could, we'll link that up as well.
Yeah, I just think there's so much content out there that if you want to, everyone's well, how do you grow your podcast? How do you grow your YouTube channel? How do you build your audience on Instagram? It's unless you're really just being true and being honest, and that doesn't mean you need to be, and there's also a boundary, I think, because there's some people that are like always vulnerable that you're like, all right, just be normal. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to tell me the sob story every time.
Yep.
Or like it's almost inauthentic when you're over vulnerable all the time. You're like,
sure.
You're not always sad. You know what I mean? It's like, just be like yourself sometimes, and then be like, I went through this challenge and relate to it through a story. But I think that's what people resonate with when you're just honest about challenges. Now, it's all dependent on the context and the setting. Like if you have a comedy podcast, you may not go into vulnerability right away, or you're joking, and you say, you know what? But actually, I was really depressed, and this is why I do comedy, because it helps me feel better. And then you're like, wow, I'm depressed. You're going to resonate with people. So I think it's just like you got to learn how to weave it in, so people aren't turned off by the inauthentic vulnerability.
Sure. Yeah, not doing it just as a tactic.
Yes, because then people can smell it, and they're like, no, I don't relate to you at all when you're that way.
Sure.
And, even me, I check myself. I'm like, am I talking about my story too much sometimes?
Yes.
Maybe I am. I don't know. But I just feel like I try to find the right points, and who knows?
That's powerful. But you have gotten more vulnerable. But I think when we share our scars and we share our failures and we share our shortcomings, that builds communities because people can relate to us. It was kind of an old school strategy to just be like, I got it all together, everything's perfect, and just try to portray that, which sometimes we feel pressured to do on social media, right?
Absolutely. I think we try to look perfect because we're afraid of people judging us. And I remember when I started to reveal everything that I was insecure about and just afraid of people knowing about me, that's when I was like, oh, everyone knows now, or they can learn about all the stuff that I don't want them to know about.
Yeah.
And I'm still alive, and people still like me, and like, okay, now it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I think I was looking to protect myself or to try to portray something because I was afraid people wouldn't follow me or buy from me or whatever or like me.
Yep.
But it was like they liked me more because they knew that I was like more human, or real about my stuff. So I think that's what we're all craving, that intimacy and that connection and that realness.
Yes.
And I just think it's going to be hard to build anything if we're not at some point willing to go there with context and understanding it all. So
absolutely. Such great advice, and influencers definitely consider maybe how could you share more of your story, more of your scars, more of your shortcomings. It could build greater depth with your audience.
Yeah, my most downloaded podcast was me opening up about being sexually abused. And it was the most downloaded and most impactful thing that from the responses I got from people, just the constant messages.
Yeah.
And it was the most terrifying thing I did, but it was the most impactful. So I think it's like, think about those things for you that you can connect with your audience, whether it be on video or audio or images. More and more people are writing these like descriptions on Instagram that are like, but here's how I really feel.
Sure.
I show you the highlight reel, but actually I'm scared, I'm insecure, I feel like a fat kid, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you see as the biggest engagement on these people's pages. Now, don't use that as like a tactic every time.
Right.
Because then it's inauthentic. And I'm like, all right, whatever.
Well, quickly, do you have time for the lightning round?
Sure, go ahead.
Because it's the lightning round.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Choo-choo. 3, 2, 1. Coffee or tea?
Right now, coffee.
Right now, coffee. We need some coffee at the end of social media marketing world. NYC or LA?
New York, even though I live in LA.
There you go. Cat or dog?
The right cat, yes. But most of the time, dogs.
So your cat story that you talk about when you speak, Leaf Moose.
Leaf Moose.
Leaf Moose the cat. No miss morning ritual.
I make my bed.
Make your bed.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Why?
I never made my bed growing up, and I went to a boarding school where you were required to, and I think when you're forced to do something, you want to rebel against it.
Yeah.
And so I would never make it after school, and I realized I just felt sloppy when I didn't make my bed. And when I started to make it every single day, a monk inspired me like 7 years ago. He was like, make your bed, here's why. I said, I'm going to try this. And I did it for a month, and I just felt better. I felt productive right away. I felt like I also had a clean space when I came back at night, and I felt like, oh, that's something I did, and I'm proud of.
Yeah.
And there was a book that came out like a year and a half ago that's a #1 New York Times bestseller called Make Your Bed. It talks about the science of making your bed.
Wow.
From a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
And it crushed. It's just like, make your bed,
Yeah.
That's it. So
powerful. Last song you had on repeat.
there's a song, Wolves, by who's dating Justin Bieber? Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
It's called Wolves. Yep.
Selena Gomez. Wolves.
As they're tearing down the building.
They're tearing down the building.
I've been running through the jungle. I've been running with the wolves to get to you.
Book every influencer should read. Of course, School of Greatness. Of course, The Mask of Masculinity. But besides those,
The Alchemist for me is a book that I think everyone should read, whether it's influence or not, because if you're an influencer, you have to understand how powerful the treasure is within you.
Yeah.
The Alchemist talks about like discovering your treasure and sharing your story with the world. So I think The Alchemist.
I love that. And then finally, a favorite quote or phrase that you like to think about often.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Love it. Love it. Well, Louis, of course, we want to link everything up. What do you have going? Where's the best place to engage with your projects online?
Just at Louis Howes, anywhere on social media.
Yep.
And School of Greatness podcast.
Absolutely. We'll definitely put those. And I also just want to acknowledge you.
Thanks, brother.
Because you're doing business with integrity. You're building a legacy for the long term.
Yeah.
And so when I see your brand, when I see what you're doing, what you're building, it encourages us here at Video Influencers, encourages me, what I'm doing at Think Media. So I appreciate you. Thanks for everything that you're doing.
Appreciate it, Sean. It's a good guy right here. Make sure you follow him.
I love it. And influencers, definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you want to see other videos in our social media series, click or tap the screen right there. And until next time, we're helping you build your influence, income, and impact with online video here on this channel. And we will talk soon.